Left a little bit of room on top. I do have to move these in place and water them. I'm not going to go crazy on the water, honestly. Uh, the raised bed soil had been sitting out all winter long, so it was very damp, and I don't want to get them too wet, but I am going to water them in. Uh, oh, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Danny coming at you from East Texas, getting a little painting done for a future project. But today, let's talk about potatoes and grow bags and onions in the raised bed. If you're wondering what all of this is for, well, like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, and I'll tell you about it in a few days. But for now, let's get to planting some potatoes and onions. So come on, come grow with me. All right, well, let's start with potatoes. So everything I know about potatoes is what I've learned on the internet or YouTube. Um, so from what I understand, potatoes need one, drainage, very good drainage. They don't like to sit in wet soil. They need nutritious soil, so we're going to add a little bit of fertilizer. And they also need soil that is light, fluffy, airy, something that's not going to compact, right? So they're trying to grow in the dirt. So we need them to be able to have room and to make room in the soil. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix some organic raised bed garden mix. This is stuff that I bought from Walmart on clearance back in, I guess, November for $1 a bag. So can't beat that. I think it's $7 or $8 normally. And then I picked up some compost and manure from my local feed store today. I'm going to mix that in. Obviously, you see behind me some perlite somewhere around here. I also have some uh, organic fertilizer. Now, this is a 769, pretty balanced, but I am going heavy on the second and third numbers, so the potassium and the phosphorus. Because they're potatoes, I know that we're going to need a little bit more of that. So I'm going to get to mixing this up. I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. All right, so these grow bags that I got off of Amazon, these are 25-gallon grow bags. They're about, I think, 15 inches tall is what I measured a minute ago. I have approximately 7.5 inches from the top left. The rest is soil in the bottom. So potatoes need about 6 inches of soil above and below, right? We're going to grow potatoes below our seed potatoes. We're also going to grow them, up above, and we got to have room for the green leaves to come up. So, I didn't measure anything when I mix this soil. I put a bag of the raised bed soil, about a half a bag of the compost, and I just dumped in a bunch of vermiculite until it looked good. Um, I don't have a potato soil recipe. If you have one, great. Please drop a comment. Let me know what that is. Let all of us know what that is. It would be much appreciated. But now I'm going to sprinkle some of this organic 769 fertilizer on top of the soil. Just enough that I can see it in there, and we know that they've got enough to, as the soil starts to break that organic fertilizer down, it'll begin to feed the potatoes over the next few weeks. And we're going to put some more of this on top after we cover the potatoes. All right, now the potatoes that I have, this bunch of potatoes here, I'm not sure if you can see them. These are actually little red potatoes that my wife and I had left over. We didn't eat them, kind of forgot about them in the pantry. I noticed they were beginning to sprout, so I thought, hey, let's use these. Let's put these to good use. So I'm going to try some red potatoes. I do have some potatoes that I bought from Lowe's. I think one of these is another red potato, and then a bunch of, it's like a mixed potatoes. And then I have just some baking potatoes that I bought at Walmart as well. Again, these were kind of left and forgotten about in the pantry, so they began to sprout. I did cut these in half, so they had a couple sprouts coming up on either side, and so I decided I would go ahead and try the uh, cutting them in half method and see how that turns out too. This is all an experiment to me. I've never grown potatoes before. Another comment for you guys, if y'all know which is going to work better, drop a comment down below and let me know. But all I'm going to do is place these in and around these grow bags. I think I can get in a 25-gallon grow bag. I probably can get 6 or 7 of them in here in each bag. Probably a few more with the smaller new potatoes. They're not going to take up much room at all. But I'm going to place these around, and then I'm going to get to covering them up. Obviously, I'm picking the best ones that I have in here that have the best looking sprouts on them. That's 5. We'll go with 6. So of the russet potatoes, the baking potatoes, I've got 6 in this grow bag, and I'll cover them up in just a few minutes. I'm going to do the same with these red potatoes. I'm going to kind of pick and choose the better ones and place them in a way that the sprouts are pointing up. Obviously, they got a head start. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be able to get a lot more of these smaller new potatoes in here. Now, I did read that with the smaller potatoes, you definitely do not want to cut these in half. That's just not going to be feasible for such a small potato. Just kind of placing them in a circle, and then I'm going to fill in the circle. Looks like I'm going to get almost all of my red potatoes that I had for this in here. All right, so there's the new potatoes. Now I'll move on to the store-bought seed potatoes. I think there's only 4 in each one of these, and they're small as well, so I'll probably use all of them in that grow bag. And then I'll begin to cover these up. I'll get right back to you. Now, before I cover these up, I did want to give y'all a kind of a closer look at how I laid these out. Obviously, you can see that on these cut potatoes, it is the cut side down. The sprouts are all pointing up, hopefully heading towards the sky, right? And so new potatoes the same way. You see how many more I got in this bag of the new potatoes. They're much smaller, but I put and made sure that all of the sprouts were facing up. And then over here are the seed potatoes that I got from Lowe's. There were 5 in each bag. However, one was pretty rotten. So I definitely did not want to put that in there with the rest of them. So I left him out. He'll go in the trash. But I wanted to give y'all a closer look at these potatoes before I began to put the soil on top. All right, I got them all covered. I left a little bit of room on top. I do have to move these in place and water them. I'm not going to go crazy on the water, honestly. Uh, the raised bed soil had been sitting out all winter long, so it was very damp, and I don't want to get them too wet, but I am going to water them in. Um, but I do have to move them in place too. Where they're going to stay wasn't too conducive to videoing this for you guys, so I'll have to move them in place. So I think it's going to settle. I did leave a little bit of room that I can come back and top dress these in just a little bit after I move them. But I'm going to sprinkle this on top, and that'll be that for the potatoes. And then we'll get to putting some onions in the raised bed. Kind of scratch that into the top inch or so. And there we go. My first potato pots. So we'll see how this goes. I will definitely keep y'all posted. Now let's get to planting some onions. All right, so let's get some onions in the ground, or in the raised bed, I should say. You can probably see behind me, I did a big batch of these onions I started from seed Monday evening. It was just too pretty. When I got home from work Monday evening, I couldn't help myself. So I got started on this before, but I definitely saved some. I wanted to show you guys a few things that I've learned. Again, another first. Everything's a first for me, obviously, being a new gardener. But these look really good. These over here look really good as well. I have given these a couple of haircuts as they've gotten pretty tall. But one thing that I learned, I planted multiple seeds in each cell. And while that hasn't seemed to be an issue, I have decided that when I've only got one onion plant in a cell, they're just easier to plant. Um, I don't know if you can tell, but a lot of these are laying over, and when you take all that soil off, it's just almost impossible to get them to stand up. Again, if you know, will they stand up on their own in time? I have no idea. If you know another chance, drop me a comment. Let me know what to expect from these as they begin to get settled in and start to set their roots and grow again. But all that said, the ones with multiples in each cell were super easy to separate. I was so surprised. I know I've seen it, I've read it. Onion roots are not, they're not picky. They don't mind being roughed up a little bit when you're taking them apart. And so it was really not a problem to separate them. I just like the way that they plant when they still have the dirt plug on them. So I'm going to start with one here. Oh, and I will say, not sure if you can tell, but I'm doing square foot gardening this year, my first full year. And Finley, hush. Sorry about that. He's growling at something like he actually thinks he's big enough to take something on. But I'm doing square foot gardening, and but one of the things I wanted to do with onions was companion planting, right? So onions are supposed to give off the aroma that repels pests and keeps them away. And so I'm actually planting the onions in the rows between each of my square feet. And hopefully that will aid in warding off any pest, and hopefully I'll get good onions out of them too. Now I don't have enough. Somehow I thought I had plenty, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have enough to catch both of my keyhole beds. But I do have some onion bulbs, the little small bulbs in the house, and I will probably plant those in the other bed. Probably not to get a true onion out of, but I can get some greens off of them, but mostly for companion planting. I want to see how well these onions protect against pests. All right, now let's get to separating some of these out. I have two different varieties that I started from seed. This is a Texas Grano. The other is a Cabernet. Um, Looks like both of these seeds came from Botanical Interest. I had really good luck with them. From everything I've seen, you're going to have a lot of onions come up and just not do well. And I did. I had quite a few that didn't do well, but I got one, two, I got like 6 trays of these type of trays that came up and did really, really well. Multiples in sales. Some sales only had singles, but they did really well. So I'll start with one of these that it's only one in the sale, and I'll kind of show y'all how easy this is. Once you pop it out, you can see how it all just holds together. The soil's still there, so when I plant it, it's very easy. And there he is, standing up pretty as he should be. Let me pick one of these that has multiples. This one right here has 2. I'll kind of show y'all how easy they are to take apart. I just kind of start rubbing on the outside to get the dirt to fall off. And once the dirt's off, I mean, they just come apart. I mean, you see how easy that was. Now, what you'll also see though is when you plant them, it's a little more difficult to get them to stand upright. We'll see how this one goes. It'll probably work perfect since I said it's hard. But yeah, you can see that he's trying to fall over. Again, I don't know if that's good, bad, indifferent. I have no idea, but that's how I'm going to get these onions in here. And I'm just going to keep going again, following along the lines between my square feet to take full advantage of the aroma that the onions give off to repel pests. Whew, this one doesn't want to come out. I knew if I complained about it, they would stand up, right? Again, just kind of massage the dirt until it falls apart, and there you go. They just come apart that easy. So that's how I'm planting my onions and using the square foot gardening method. Hopefully I'm going to protect against pests. Hopefully I'm going to get some really good onions out of these. The Texas Grano is a sweet yellow onion, and the Cabernet is a red onion. I'm really partial to the red onions. I like them in salads, fajitas, that sort of thing. And I have plenty of both coming up. But that's what I'm working on today. I'm going to get to finishing this up, and I'll get back to you in just a few minutes. And there we have it. All my onions are now in the raised bed. I'm going to water these in, of course, let them get settled. The days are getting so warm now, they should really take off. It's getting a little cool at night, but nothing these onions can't handle. So excited about this. In the other beds, I'll probably be placing those onion sets that I have in the house. But yeah, so I got my potatoes in the bags. I got my onions in the raised bed. I hope you all learned something from this. Again, like I said before, like, subscribe. Please comment if you have ideas on things that I can do better, or if you just like the way I'm doing things. Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, as always, thanks for watching. Come here, Finley. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. It's almost time. Spring is almost here, Finley. Almost time. Beautiful sunset.